What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into Wicked Bad Movies, the show where we watch the worst movies ever put to film and discuss them. Figure out if there's any qualities of this movie that are worthwhile or worth our time. And then at the end of it, we're going to rate it all. I'm Kevin Duffy from Duffy Geeks Out. This is Duffy Geeks Out YouTube channel, but this is where we do Wicked Bad Movies. And this is my co-host. That is my co-host, John Ackerman, the man who has seen more Wicked Bad movies than anybody on the planet, I believe.
I've seen a lot. I mean, I've still got more to run, if I'm being honest. So, can't wait to see more. I've got a long list.
Well, this movie in particular, there's a reason we picked this one for the first movie of 2023. Off the back of James Gunn's new DC Studios announcements, one of the films that, the designated competition or is going to release is Swamp Thing. I love Swamp Thing, the old original 80s Swamp Thing movie. I loved it. I love the 90s show, the animated one and the live action one. And I remember seeing the return of Swamp Thing as a kid. I don't remember it being this bad.
I feel like that's the case with a lot of the movies that we watched when we were kids. We're like, this is great. As we see them as adults, we go, oh man, that was dog shit. That was just terrible.
Yes, unfortunately, our childhood was all lies. And Return of Swamp Thing was it was a tough watch, John. It was a tough watch.
I completely agree with you. I say this to you. I watched it twice just to make sure that I was like I do with most movies when we do this to make sure that I have everything fresh in my mind when we sit through it, and it's harder to watch a second time. So never mind the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I took so many notes that I was like, you know what? At this point, I need to stop taking notes because it's not anything I'm criticizing. The film must already know that it's done wrong, but. Even having said that, we do need to discuss this movie. That's what this channel is. That's what this show is for. So, The Return of Swamp Thing. I do like the opening credits that say "Once upon a time in the swamp." I thought that was a really nice touch, and it let you know just how classy this movie was going to be.
Oh, absolutely. And like I can't say enough good things about the fact that as it's opening up and as you see the four agents that are starting to wade into the water, I'm like, you guys look just like a bunch of fishermen from like the Bumpkinville of nowhere.
Now, I already have a question. So are they agents? We don't know any profession that these people do. I mean, I only could get through it one time, but I do not remember any of them saying that they were members of any kind of agency other than saying your one line about you wanted to get out of the office and into the field.
See, that's where I was going with it, is that they had to be some type of agents because they're looking for like a
distillery.
Distilleries.
Yes.
Right. So I was thinking immediately got to be the ATF.
Okay.
Right. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms. So I was like, so they are stuck in the office, right? They got to get out there. And then shit just goes downhill so fast for them.
Got to give a shout out to Bobby Hodge, who commented on the video already. He says, "These guys, look at these guys. What's up?" Nothing, Hodge. What's up with you, man? They're looking for the distillery for sure. They even say as much. But it just seems like a strange operation in the middle of the night to go looking for a distillery. And if you're the ATF, don't you have like boats or anything to traverse the swamp?
That's my exact thought right off the bat, is that as they're sitting there, they're in high waders, right? They're in like waist deep muck, right? And they go ahead and they have like no night vision, no nothing. They have like the bare essentials for whatever it is they're doing for an operation, and it just get destroyed by
Leech Man.
Leech Man. That's the best way to say it. Some leech monster that just comes out of nowhere.
Okay, that thing. I mean, you pointed out to me off air that it was a leech, and I'm like, I guess it was. To me, it looked like an octopus with a fucking vacuum cleaner face. I was like, I guess that could be the creature that is going to be the terrorizing this movie. But I don't know, man. That creature design is pretty fucking terrible right off the bat.
For sure. Dude, the very first kill in this movie is so awkward and so weird because you have the guy staring at the other guy pissing.
Yeah. He was trying to see that dick. What's that guy's name? Was it Mort?
Yeah, Mort.
Mort had to stand back, take a piss. And dude, are you really? I'm sorry. I have never traversed the swamp, but I can only imagine that if I had to piss so bad, I'd be like, I'm gonna wait till I get back on firm ground before I piss. Fucking gators, snakes, shit like that. Like you're waist deep in water, man. You gotta take your dick out in that fucking water. I'm not.
You can't see the fucking ground during the daytime. Never mind the nighttime. It's just
piss your pants.
Yeah, I would just piss inside the waiters. Call it a day. Nobody's gonna know.
Oh my God! It was dude. It was that dude. He died. You see his hat floating. What is it? And then they all get attacked. You know what it was? It was actually very reminiscent of the scene in the movie Silver Bullet, where the people are going hunting for the werewolf and they get attacked in the fog. It's in the fog with us, but like obviously way worse in Return of Swamp Thing. It was probably one of the worst scenes I've ever seen. And then you have the characters split off. Half of them go running back to land where they run into Dr. Arcane's people who just gun them down, right? They gun them down?
Yep, they just shoot them down.
And then the dude loses his glasses, very Scooby-Doo. I can't see, like walking around, gets close to Leech Man. Leech Man's gonna fuck him up. Swamp Thing, enter Swamp Thing.
Yeah, heroic pose.
Dude, heroic poses galore. This movie, literally every time Swamp Thing walks on the screen, the music's like, dun, 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 and he just stands there. And then he's like, oh, I need to help. Like, dude, how about the element of surprise? Run up on fucking Leech Man and take him out.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Right? So, yeah, I mean, that entire fight right there, you look at that fight and you sit there and say, oh, Leech Man or Leech Thing, whatever you want to call it.
I like Leech Man.
Yeah, I like Leech Man as well. Leech Man goes ahead and he gives Swamp Thing a decent fight right there. I sit there and go, oh, awesome. There we go. This is what I want to see. Right?
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the fights in this movie were like pro wrestling, like open chest, like backhand slaps. I feel like that was every fight in this movie was one of those. So
I mean, I understand, but like I sat there, I was like, for what it was like, it's solid for what it is right now. I was like, all right, so Swamp Thing, Leech Man, this is going to be the main fight in this movie, and it's bad. And then when he hands him back his glasses, and the guy's like, oh!
They call me Swamp Thing. Cue Born on a Bayou by CCR with all the comic panels. I did like the comic panels showing like Swamp Thing through the ages and stuff like that. A lot of Alan Moore stuff. I love that. But I gotta tell you, this they must have spent the entire budget on just getting the ability to use the CCR song, because there's no way that any more money went into this movie than that.
Between that and explosions, that's exactly what I think they paid.
Oh yeah,
the explosions were just top notch.
I mean, there's some special effects that are great too, dude. But the groundbreaking. I couldn't believe it was filmed in the 90s. And then from that scene, you get your first. Is that do you go from there to? Let me see. Blah 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 blah. Do you go to Arcane next, or do you go to Heather Locklear next? I can't remember what the order of the movie was.
You go to Arcane with the two doctors, and they're discussing because they take one of the agents back, because one of them was shot and wounded. They take one of the agents back and they start experimenting on him.
Yes, they turn him into one of the freaks in the basement. Yeah. Okay, so right at the bat, my issue with this movie, one of many, was. You see Dr. Arcane, and I was like, how the fuck is this dude? Because, again, I haven't seen the original Swamp Thing since, I don't know, I was 5 years old. But I remember he turns into, like, a boar wolf creature, fights Swamp Thing in the swamp. Swamp Thing fucking stabs him to death in the swamp. He's dead. And then literally, in this movie, he's just like, I'm a dude walking around my house again. And I'm like, are they going to address the fact that this man was killed in the last movie and he's just up and about, like back to being a human, no problems? And they do, but they don't address it until 3/4 of the way through the movie. They just have some dialogue about it. I'm like, you probably should have put that dialogue in the beginning of the movie.
Wasn't the best explanation either, though.
No.
You know? Yeah.
No. Oh, we reverse engineered him back to being a man again. Oh, okay, sure.
I guess that works.
Because science. I found this is just some digging I did. The original movie was directed by Wes Craven, which I was like, holy shit. And that might be why the original one in my mind wasn't that bad, but I probably want to rewatch that one to see if it's on the same level as this one. I don't think it is. I think this movie is substantially worse, but until I double check the first one again, I can't really be sure. But
well, I mean, I think we can both agree it's not all superhero movies, but a good deal of them. Sequels tend to be really fucking bad. You know, they tend to be really bad, and it's for no apparent reason, right? Other than the fact that they try to take some serious liberties and just kind of try to stretch things out or try to make it really funny when it shouldn't be, right? It's just this one was just really, really, really bad in this particular case,
right?
Like as soon as you go through the arcane thing, I mean, you switch over to Heather Locklear in the plants, right? When she's just talking to the plants nonstop.
Heather oh my god! Like I don't know what the hell she was doing in this movie. I mean, it was well before Melrose Place, but this is just like the director of this movie gave her such terrible like lines and terrible direction. She's sitting there talking to plants and she's like, oh, I wish more men were like plants. It's like, dude, can you be more on the fucking nose with where this story's going? I wish more men were like plants. What the fuck are you talking about? Stop talking. And I'm going to go down there and give him a piece of my mind. And she's doing this whole speech and I'm like, who is she even talking about? You know, I had no idea.
Lady, like eating like the tub of mac and cheese or whatever she's eating at the time.
Out of a can? Like,
I was
put it in a bowl.
Nobody does that. That's gross.
Put it in a bowl, lady. For Christ's sakes. And then so she says she's going to go give him a piece of her mind. And then she ends up going to see Dr. Arcane, who was her stepfather. Like, I don't understand the dynamic of this relationship. He was her stepfather. He experimented on her mother, and she died, right?
Yep.
How many years ago is this? How estranged was Heather Locklear from her mother that, like, she's only now coming to investigate what's going on with Arcane?
I want to say that they addressed this in the movie, and it's been 10 years since the previous movie.
10 years?
Yeah. So
Jesus
she's like,
Christ.
So I don't know how old. I don't remember how old. I don't even know how old she is.
Well, no. It must have been. It must be 10 years since Heather Locklear left the picture with the mom in Arcane.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
because it couldn't be 10 years from the original Swamp Thing because they just talked about how they reverse engineered what's his face back to being a man.
Right.
That wouldn't have been a 10-year gap. He had a timeline to get back to fucking being immortal or whatever. And I don't think he had 10 years to fucking kick around, but
maybe not.
But he gets there and he takes a look. And this movie, dude. Like, part of it's like, did they want to make a spoof of their own movie? Because when Dr. Arcane sees Heather Locklear outside, he's like, that's I don't even remember her fucking character name, but it's Heather Locklear. Abigail. He goes, that's Abigail. He's like, he goes, she looks just like her mother. And it's like, oh, we could use her blood. And it's like, how are we going to get her blood? He's like, you'll figure that out. the guy just looks at him like, what the fuck? What do you mean we'll figure that out? And like, it's like, is it a comedy? Because it's got beats like it's a comedy, but then it's not funny. So,
dude, the main henchman, Mr. Gunn, that guy is a savage throughout the movie. I thought he was fantastic.
He was good.
That's actually, weirdly enough, because I ended up looking this up. That's actually Joey Segal, and do you know who? Like, that's Katie Seagal's brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Married with children?
Yes.
Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, that's Katie Seagal's brother. I sat there, and go, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy, man.
King Hap, Mike Harrington just messaged in and said, what the fuck? It's a good movie. It's
Dude,
not.
You've never seen it, Mike. I don't want to hear that shit.
If you ever saw this movie, I would be shocked. It is terrible.
It has nothing to do with the mob. It has nothing to do with anything like that.
Yeah. There's no Italian people in this movie. None. Oh, that's so good. We'll get a sample from Abigail. How? You'll figure it out. It's like throwaway lines that are pretty funny. He goes, never seen it. Harrington. Oh, man. And then this is the moment when I was watching this, and I messaged you on the side about this, where I was like, holy shit. I'm like, Arcane's right-hand henchman lady is the girl from Superman 2. And Conan the Barbarian 2, Conan the Destroyer. I'm like, she only does sequels. Like, her whole filmography on IMDb is just sequel. So
that's fantastic, though. I mean, like, she's putting bread on the table. That's all that makes a difference, you know. I mean,
as an actress, I like her. She's like kind of like she's like oddly sexy, which is weird because it's like she's playing such a like weird character in this movie, and she's not sexy in Superman 2. Like that haircut and like those fucking black like flowy gypsy outfits are not helping anybody from Krypton whatsoever. But she's kind of sexy in this movie. She's kind of sexy as the Queen in Conan the Destroyer. And it's just so weird because like I saw her and I'm like, where do I know this lady from? And I'm watching it and I was like, Superman 2. It like just came to me, and then I was texting you about it right away. I was like, and you're like, holy shit, it is her. But
I wouldn't have guessed. I looked at her, I'm like, she looks familiar, but I have no idea what she's from. Right, and I just kind of wrote it off immediately. And then when you said that, I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy.
But you decided to deep dive Katie Seagal's brother. The guy who's never been in anything and didn't even pop on your screen. You decide to look up that dude IMDb and be like, what has this guy been in? But you didn't look up the girl who was in your mind like, I've seen her before.
Dude, he was an absolute savage throughout the movie. I thought it was fantastic. When it comes down to the comedy bits, they're all him.
No, he was over that dude was chewing up the scenery. He's like, this is the one movie I'm ever going to be in, and I am going to act the shit out of this movie. Nobody ever.
He's so over top bad. It's fantastic. I absolutely quite enjoyed him specifically.
Yeah, nobody ever casted him. I mean, I didn't dive into his IMDb, but I can't imagine he's been in much. But if he has, it has to be this level of bad. So he's probably going to come up in other movies we'll do.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Heather Locklear gets there, and just all of a sudden, she's like a total bitch to everybody, which is like, I guess that's like the young recluse daughter coming back, and she's just rude to everybody. She calls the girl from Superman 2 a slut, basically, to her face, and she's like, "What? Fuck you, bitch! I'm out of here." She just.
In fairness, Heather Locklear looks amazing in this. I seen Heather Locklear in this, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I don't remember Heather Locklear looking this good. And then I realized I was like 6 when the movie came out.
Yeah, that's probably exactly it. She's very, very attractive in this movie. I never saw Melrose Place in like at all. Like probably on TV when I was a kid. I had older siblings, so somebody in the house was probably watching it, which is why I know who she is. But like, I don't know. People in the 90s always dressed weird too, so I feel like she probably had some weird 90s hair that I was just like, she's not something I'm going to remember. But in this movie, she's very attractive in this movie. And they really should have named this movie Cleavage the Movie, because that's all the costume designs are like, all right, you're a girl, you're going to have a low cut top that's so low that all it is boob. And that's every single chick in this movie. Every single one of them.
Yep.
Also,
I do.
Where would Arcane, the doctor, find all these henchmen, get them sequenced uniforms, like these orange horrible fucking things, and decide to put them all together on screen like that? Like, it doesn't make sense. And where do you find this much, like, all right, you need to be like an 80s like swimsuit model or just a fucking meatball of a man? Like that was the hiring of there was an ad. It said, "Are you attractive? Will you look good in a jumpsuit?" Yeah, come here. Good. Are you just a dumb meatball of a man? Yes. All right. The two things we're looking for. We're going to hire everybody.
I think it might have been like a requirement when they were filming that those jumpsuits had to be orange because they were in the bayou and somebody might have shot them. Right? Safety. You got to have safety. It's a possibility.
I don't. Dude, they're horrible. Like the worst color things ever.
Dude, I can't say enough good things about what comes up later on in this movie when it comes down to those guys, those particular fatzos that are in those jumpsuits. on the jet skis, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, dude, that is a scene. That is a scene. Like literally, they're like, go find Swamp Thing, right? He sends them out to find Swamp Thing, and literally they're in a helicopter, just dropping fucking dynamite into the water. Like, dude, he's not there. You're not just gonna. You think you're just gonna hit him like randomly?
They had the guy with a giant gut, right? And his jumpsuit comes down like to like the bottom of his belly, so you can see his belly button. And he's on the jet ski, and it's just hanging out. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Why aren't you standing? You're just getting waterlogged.
Well, here's the thing. You only ever saw like a wide shot of the compound where you saw like maybe 6 of these guards, but there's supposed to be like 40 of them or something.
Right.
So they only had 6 jumpsuits. So they had to let other people use the jumpsuits. So that one dude whose gut was hanging out was just wearing one that was somebody else's, really. So
fair enough. That makes sense.
But I love it. I love that. Like, it's like, pan out. We're gonna find him. We're gonna find the Swamp Thing. It's like, dude, you're not gonna fucking find him. He's made of grass. Like, what are the chances you're gonna see him?
Literally hundreds of square miles he could be in, and you're just like, yeah, there's a lake there. Let's blow it up.
Boom, got him for sure. Yep. That got him.
Yep.
But let's see, what do we got here? Then it cuts to what I think is probably my absolute least favorite thing in the entire movie, and that is the kids.
Disagree with you entirely.
You like the kids?
Absolutely. I thought they were amazing. The worst written shit ever, right?
Oh.
And I sat there right off the bat, right? When he comes in, he's like, look at this treasure trove of nudie magazines. And I was like, amazing.
How old are these kids? Because I have to ask that, because I feel like the older looking one, probably the one who had the nudie mags, maybe was old enough to care about what a nudie mag was. But
the
other
I think they're like 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, no, that's horseshit. You wouldn't find those and think these are awesome. But hold on, I want to play a quick scene for you here, because I have some cutouts here, and this is the one that I had to add to the stream, because I want anybody who's watching at home to see just how bad the acting is with these 2 kids. So here we go.
Jerk. So you got a little wet. Big deal. Thought you said nothing mattered.
Nothing does. Folks gone.
Left 10 minutes ago.
You're not coming right back.
Hey, man, it is bingo night. They'll be gone for hours.
Then you got him.
Do I got them?
Well, let's see him.
Be cool, bro. Be cool. What are you drinking?
Nothing yet. Got any hard stuff?
There you have it. 1988. The year in pictures. Dig in.
Whoa, I can't believe it. Look at these babes.
Check out the one in the Junish of the Big and Busty. She's one of the old man's favorites.
My God, she's a Scorpio. Hey, great Amandaries, they get along great.
My man, I wouldn't steer you wrong. My purse! It's my purse!
What do we do? What do we do?
Give him away! Give him away!
Where? Where?
Anywhere! Just make a call! Right away! Right away!
I thought you said they were playing bingo.
Be right there, Mom! Take the chill pill, man! Look, you can't tell! Just say! Don't be nervous, okay? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There's something I noticed in that scene where they pop the Cokes and the Pepsi. They pop one of each.
Yeah.
There's 2 Cokes in the background instead.
What, would it cut back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Of course they wouldn't pick up on that, the creators. But yeah, that is literally some of the worst acting of all time, and I don't understand the inclusion of those 2 characters at all.
Not even a little bit. Even when they go ahead and like just a little bit after that, where they're like, "Hey, it's my dad's bowling ball," smash right through the window. It's just terrible across the board. I loved it. I did love the Scorpio and I'm an Aries thing though. I thought I rolled at that one. I thought it was fantastic.
God. Man, look at these babes. It was just like, oh my God. And these kids, like, when the intro to that shot, it shows like this like absolute fucking dive motel. They're living at a motel, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, yeah. It's just some broken down, run down like bayou motel place just in the middle of the swamp. That, I mean, if you leave your kid there and your parents are playing bingo, I mean that's the spot, I suppose.
I can't. Oh my God, this movie just fucking hurts my head. But the like those kids, like literally, like they literally shut the door on this thing, face each other, and scream. Like it. Whoever wrote this movie must have only ever like watched Scooby-Doo as a kid or like something like that. Like there's no way this was written for like this couldn't have been written for live action. It had to have been written for like some goofy animated thing that he was trying to do. And he's like, you know what? He's like, that scene that I wrote with those two kids that didn't get added to the Goonies, we're going to add it to this. So I think it was like,
oh, so accurate.
But oh my God.
I mean, the scene after that, though, where you see Leechman versus Swamp Thing in
round
the parking
two.
lot, round two, where Leechman grabs an oar off a boat, and then Swamp Thing dismantles a fucking swing set.
Yes, just grabs the fucking leg and yanks it out. The whole fucking thing collapses. I actually enjoyed that. I was like, oh man, how unsafe was that swing set? That like no kids could have been using it. Like one swing and the whole fucking thing would have collapsed down on them for sure. But dude, when they're fighting and when they hit, like the awful visual effects of the lightning from the, oh my God. He had an oar though.
Yeah, it looked like an oar.
That makes it even better. Because then, metal oar. Okay, I thought it was a wooden oar. I'm like, then the lightning makes no sense. But then Swamp Thing defeats Leechman, sets him on fire from that exploding whatever. And then and then Leechman runs on fire, dives into the swamp, and explodes.
Yes.
So my question to you is the swamp full of gasoline? How did that explosion take place?
Well, interesting that you bring that up, because they go ahead, they talk about Holland when he goes ahead and he where his body is being burned, but he has the chemical compound in him, right? He runs into the swamp.
He explodes.
And he explodes. So something leads me to believe that this swamp might be completely volatile.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, then that solves it then. You can't keep fire away from the bayou. All right. So he kills Leechman. Let's see. This is where it goes to them trying to find Swamp Thing. They're like, hey, you got to find him. And then it's like they're dropping the dynamite. I have a note here that says this movie should be called Cleavage the Movie. So obviously that's where I originally wrote that note.
I think that this comes where she's supposed to be getting ready for dinner with Arcane as well. With Lana.
Oh, yes. This is where they get her blood. She then decides she's going to go for a walk into the woods.
I went ahead and I put I put a note down when I seen Lana coming back into the room in that gold dress. I was like, that is the most hideous fucking dress I've ever fucking seen ever. Right? And I was just like, awful.
Yeah, awful. Man, it's not flattering at all. I feel like it was I feel like one of the party guests in Beetlejuice has like a very similar ugly fucking 1980s, early 90s gold dress. But talking fashion now. And then she comes across the distillers. So she just walks to the distillers.
So this has that guy in it, right? The guy who plays Gunn, Goodell or Grundle or whatever his name is, right?
Goudreau? I don't know what it is.
But his name's Alex Van, and he's been in a lot of shit, right? He was in The Walking Dead. He was in Loki. He was in Stranger Things. He's been in a lot of different things. It's just that guy, some random person that you've seen before that you just never knew that you've seen him before.
Which one? Is he the heavyset one or the skinny one?
He's the heavyset one.
All right.
The one that quote unquote, he goes, "This guy's coleslaw."
I have that. That is a great quote. This guy's coleslaw. Oh my God. Oh, and then Heather Locklear comes walking into camp and he goes, "Who says there ain't no God?"
Where are you from? California. I hate California.
Yeah. I hate California. Oh my God. Yeah. So then Swamp Thing beats the shit out of those guys.
These happen to be the distillers that the agents were looking for earlier in the movie, because that's what they're doing. They're distilling moonshine.
Oh well, I'm glad that these the director of this film and the writer of this movie had enough sense to tie that in eventually. That was good, because I really needed to know. I really needed to take that one scene away to get to the distillers. But you know, that's the meet cute for Heather Locklear and Swamp Thing. So that comes kind of late in the movie, doesn't it? Or it feels like it does. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe this movie is just so terrible that it's all blurring together in my head. But Tournament of Coleslaw is a great line. The next line that's really good is when they come across Swamp Thing, the Heather Locklear, they go to save her and they're like, "There he is, turn him into guacamole." Yes. Like, there's so many bad lines. Like, they keep wanting to just, how do they even, in my head, I'm like, there's no way that this dude in Louisiana even knows what guacamole is. Like, that fucking dude in the middle of the bayou, like, he does not know that. He doesn't.
That's not the thing that gets me. The thing that gets me is that when Swamp Thing takes her, right, to that, like, his AKA bachelor pad, right? That's the nice place in the swamp, right? And then she's like flirting with him. And I was like, how the fuck is this going to work? Right. And then he's like, eat my root to her. He hands her that like mushroom root. And all of a sudden she just starts tripping balls and having like, I cued it. I say it's very much like the sensor rings from Coneheads. Right? Yep. And she just starts tripping balls and having fake sex with him. And I was like, this is such a weird fucking thing to put in this movie. Why?
Yeah. I don't know. You needed to have a sex. So that sex scene in general, it's not in this section of notes. I have it over here on my computer. But how about like you're jumping into some fucking weirdo, mentally connected sexual fantasy, right? And Heather Locklear is fully dressed, and Swamp Thing's a human again, wearing fucking jeans. Like, I don't know you're already mentally connected. Why would any of those clothes be on those people? That's just my mind. I'm like, shouldn't they just be naked?
Completely agree. Completely agree with you.
But we skipped over one of my favorite lines of the entire movie. That's when Heather Locklear escapes Gunn, the fucking number one guard there, and he goes. He tries to stop her, and he goes, 10 years of training in Okinawa.
I remember that, yeah.
The way he says Okinawa. And then she goes, one day on the streets of LA and kicks him in the nuts. That is terrible writing.
That's just awful. Just awful.
Oh, my God. Talk about one-liners, dude. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger would have had a field day with some of these one-liners. It's so good. Like when Swamp Thing gets into the house and she goes, "Alec, how'd you get here?" "Well, you could say I was piped in," because he comes through the fucking tap. So terrible.
The fact that he looks like sludge just coming in through the drainage pipe and into the bathtub. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, you got some of this from Ghostbusters for sure.
my note on the green stuff, I said, "Uh-oh, green tap water." Like, and that lady starts a bath and leaves. She just leaves it. Like, for all she knows, that's flooding the entire compound. She just left the bath running because she doesn't go back because Swamp Thing fucking comes out of it. And then she's off doing something else in the next scene.
Oh, yeah.
Just really not thinking about the layout of this place here. But hang on, let's see this. So then they make their escape in the Jeep, Swamp Thing and Heather Locklear. Dude, first of all, the point is you need her blood, or you need her to do this fucking thing with Arcade.
Trying to blow her the fuck up.
Yeah, just openly firing fucking machine guns at her, and like, dude. Mike Harrington goes, laugh my ass off. It sounds like the best movie ever.
Yeah, I recommend you watch it, Mike.
It's not, Mike. It's not. But
like,
dude, they drive 20 feet from the front of that compound to the fucking gate. 20 feet. But they have so many angles and so many new people coming up to shoot. I'm like, how long is this driveway supposed to be? Because it would appear as if it is like, I don't know, 500 feet away from the front door, but it's in actuality 20 feet. So like,
Dude, Heather Locklear doing the weakest throw I've ever seen of anybody of that grenade. And this goes, and it goes bang right in the front. I was like, why is you had two guys there just shooting at you? Why would you just shoot her at that point? It just wound her. You wound everybody else.
She grabs a shotgun that was in the car too and fucking snipes somebody with it too. And I'm like, okay, so Heather Locklear now knows how to use a shotgun.
She has it right in front of her teeth too. Right when she's shooting it, so it would have been plaque right in her teeth. It would have gave her a nice gap.
Ooh, Alice, do you like me still? Oh, I don't know. You got a fucking teeth, lady.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up in the fucking this is before the sex scene happens, but she wakes up in the woods. She's like, how'd you sleep? He goes, oh, I slept like a baby. Her fucking neck, she's against the tree. She's against a tree, and her neck's like this.
Dude, I go, your neck will be so fucked up when you wake up.
It's literally like a 90-degree angle. Like her fucking head is against this tree. And she's like, I slept like a baby. Well, fuck, lady. What kind of mattress and pillow do you have? Because I got to tell you that if I ever even sat down in that position, I would have to go see a chiropractor because my fucking neck and back would be fucked up for weeks. So I don't know.
It's so true. I had that note as well. Like I was like, Jesus Christ,
like a baby.
Like I would be hobbling for the entire day.
Oh God! And then she goes. I have a note here that says, "Oh, she wants that swamp thing." Stupid. I had to bring it up.
Accurate though. It's so accurate though. You know,
we already talked about the sex scene and the jeans and the clothes.
The fact that the kids are able to find Swamp Thing, but nobody else in that goddamn compound can.
We're going to get a picture of her with my dad's camera. And then Swamp Thing wants to pose with the camera. Like, dude, no. If you are a vigilante swamp creature in the fucking woods or swamp, you are not like, yeah, I'll pose for a photo with this kid. Like, hey, what's up? Only if your little buddy gets in the photo with me. Oh,
dude, there's a line that they sit there and say, they go, we're going to get so much money for him. They go, but he's not even as popular as Bigfoot. I was like, yes.
What makes you think we're going to get 10 big ones for him? That's what they got for taking that photo of Bigfoot. He's like, but this guy ain't as popular as Bigfoot. Fucking hate those kids. I fucking hate those kids. And the other thing I was thinking about is all these people that like Swamp Thing like goes up and like touches and like gets close to. Like I would just be like, ugh, don't fucking touch me. You look wet.
Dude, his smell alone must be fucking rancid. Just absolutely rancid. Like
wet dog, like to the max. Just fucking gross.
You're in the hot, smelly, humid bayou, right? Get the fuck out of here.
So then Swamp Thing, the kids get kidnapped by the security team, I guess. And he walks up and he fucking hits that dude in the face with a bat so hard he would be dead. Like dead. No questions asked. Because
you see how he chucks the leech guy, right? He just sits there and just chucks him. Right? I'm like, there's no fucking way that you're holding your punches back. Some of these people, they gotta have caved in chests or broken ribs somewhere along the way.
They're going to murder kids, and he absolutely swung at that man with all his might. The dude goes flipping backwards, and the next scene, he's just got a little broken nose with a bandage. I'm like, no. He's dead. He's dead. Nobody takes a baseball bat to the face and lives at that velocity. Nobody. I'm sorry. That guy would have been fucking dead. But I'm glad he wasn't. Because that led to the almost sex scene between Gunn and the chick security, where they're just comparing scars. I'm like, oh, what is this, fucking Jaws now? It's like
her name is Miss Poinsettia.
Miss Poinsettia, yes.
Yeah.
Great name. It must be the girl that stole the poinsettia from work one time. No, but
Yeah.
so they're it wasn't her, but they're doing that, and they're going over the scars, and then she literally basically pulls her tit out. She goes, Motley Crue, 1987. She's got the biggest fucking teeth mark bite you've ever seen. That thing, when it occurred, for the scar that is left there, would have been profusely bleeding everywhere. It wouldn't have been a fun story. She would have been like, oh my God, fucking Vince Neil just like took a chunk out of my tit. I have to go see a doctor. Now.
This is gonna get gangrene. Absolutely.
Like I'm bleeding. Like I'm gonna lose the boob. It's that those teeth marks are fucking deep, and that scars. I mean, like holy shit. So
well, every scar that they're showing, I'm like, did you guys use Rambo's method of gunpowder and a hot fucking knife to go ahead and seal these up? I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you gotta make sure to cauterize that thing all the way through. But my God! But then. So then Swamp Thing attacks the compound to get Heather Locklear back. And oh my God, he does like some of the stupidest shit ever. Like he just sticks his hands in through the gate and knocks guys out. Like he doesn't. And then there's supposed to be, and this is what I'm talking about. They only had enough money for this one scene, this one compound that they were filming at, this one house. Yep. But I don't think that the like actual setup around the house was conducive to multiple shots, because there are two scenes back to back where he pops out of the same bush, but it's supposed to be a different area, because you see him pop out of a bush, take a guy out, throw him in the bush, and then he runs off. And then the next scene shows the bush from the people walking the other way, and he pops out of it again and gets him. And I'm like, okay, that's the same bush. Like 100% the same bush. I understand, but like have him just pop out next to the steps or something. You know, you don't have to use the bush again.
It's the other thing for me is that he's a scientist, right? And he goes ahead and he's using like advanced tactics to go ahead and take out these people who are supposedly great henchmen. They're not, obviously, but he walks up on a guy, taps him on the shoulder, and the guy doesn't even turn around and goes, "Hey, you got a light?" And then he comes around and goes, "Huh?" Smack. And he goes, "This is too easy." I go, "This is bad." This is really bad.
This is too easy, which led me to believe it was going to be a trap, right? But it isn't. There's no trap. He just walks right into the lab, no problem, where Heather Locklear is having her soul sucked out. What is the science behind what is happening in these, like, it looks like a set from fucking Nick Arcade. Like, they're just like fucking like back-to-back recliners with a big fucking turbine in the middle, and her soul is being sucked out into fucking Arcane, I guess.
So, like, I'm not 100% sure of what's going on there. I know they talk about her genetic code and how great it is to reach immortality, but like, he clearly goes ahead and kills her by going and sucking her soul out, right? But like, there's something about his fucking hand. His hand is like they put the wrong sample in. He started turning into some kind of pus monster.
Fungus. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I go, that's never explained. Is what's going on here.
That's how the Last of Us starts. The fungus grows out of Arcane's hand.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing, they said it was her blood. It was her blood that was supposed to be the thing. Why go through the trouble of paying for the special effects to have the stupid soul sucking thing going on? Just hook her up to a fucking IV and suck her blood out and put it into Arcane.
It would be way easier. Transfusion's simpler.
It's all for nothing, because Arcane never amounts to anything in the movie. He never even does anything. He walks off after the transfusion and he goes, "I feel 25 years younger, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but I'm growing fungus on my hand." And then the other doctor who we never even talked about pops out of the fucking mutation room. And
he's got some of the best lines too.
Crushes his legs. Like, he just crushes Arcane's legs, and that's the last thing that Arcane does in the movie. Swamp Thing walks in. Yeah, Swamp Thing walks in and sees Arcane. He's like pinned to the ground, like, help me, my legs. And that's it. There's no fight between those two. He doesn't turn into a monster. It's like, what was the point of even having this man in this movie?
Yeah, Dr. Rochelle there turns into some kind of like mutant humanoid, obviously, and he gets fucking the bag beat out of him by Swamp Thing. I mean, it's not even a contest on how fast this movie wraps up, right?
Ready? I mean, the man has a ball sack head. he has a ball sack head. That's all you can say about it.
He hits him, and you watch the thing wiggle.
It fucking bounces. It bounces. I mean, dude, special effects terrible. Why even have that stupid thing on his head? Like one test run before filming, and you're like, all right, we got to lose the ball sack head. It's not going to work. Let's just have him look the way he is, and then have nothing on top, just his hair, or shave his head, or something.
Right.
But my God, that fucking special, like it's so bad, John. I was so dumbfounded, and that's literally Arcane. He just gets hit with that door, stays there, and dies.
Yep.
He dies. You can't escape.
You don't know that for sure, because it doesn't actually ever show him dying. I mean, he stays there. The lab does explode, right? But technically, he's achieved some form of immortality, having been 25 years younger. There's a possibility he could survive that, maybe.
Oh, dude.
But
I don't know.
The most important thing is that after Gunn gets hit with a grenade and his Jeep rolls over and is in a fiery wreck, he still shows up with a fucking chainsaw. In there.
Oh, hold on. What's the line he gives? He says, I got you now, Mr. Potato Head. What? What line? What is that referencing to? What is Swamp? He doesn't look like Mr. Potato Head.
No, a little bit.
I don't even understand that. And then he goes and he takes the fucking grenade out. He goes, "Oh shit, man!" And he fucking blows up. Like, oh man, it's fucking terrible. That dude just keeps coming back for pain. But oh my God! And no, wait, no. I got you now, Mr. Potato Head, is what he says when he's coming at him in the Jeep. I think. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I got my lines crossed here.
It gets so. He's got so many good lines. I'll tell you what, if Gambit was being made back in the 80s, right, I would have picked Joey Seagal as Gambit, hardcore.
And the X-Men would have died right then and there on the casting. I can tell you that much. And then I have this here. Those straps that were holding down Heather Locklear, non-existent. She could have shaken out of them. Swamp Thing removes two, and then he just kind of picks her up, and the other ones just fall away.
Oh yeah.
Just roll off the table, lady. If the fucking soul sucking thing's happening, roll off the table, and then this is my favorite line that I wrote from any of my notes. I said, Heather Locklear's best acting, bouncing lifeless in the arms of Swamp Thing as he's escaping. She's just like. That was the best.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't understand the ability that he has, where he's able to go and bring her back to life after like a straight night. Like he just sits there and puts the hand on her and just goes ahead and brings her back to life.
This is why I believe the blood transfusion angle would have been better for the movie. If you do the blood transfusion and she just has no blood left in her body, right? She's just dead, no blood, right? Yep. Swamp Thing takes her to the swamp and then infuses her with his fucking like plant blood or whatever. Then it would make more sense. Like 100%. Science, it wouldn't. Obviously, this is not real science. This is the stupidest shit I've ever talked about in my life. But But it would have made more sense if like he was like, oh, now you're gonna be like me, and then like literally there's a cutaway to her in a full Swamp Thing look, rather than just the sprout coming from her foot.
That weird prosthetic foot thing that they had going on with the sprout was such a weird thing to add. Just weird. I was like, this is horrible. A horrible way to end this movie.
Oh God. Well, it's a good place to end this podcast.
Yeah, thank God.
This movie was. We have a rating scale here on Wicked Bad Movies where we've it's a 3-tier rating scale, right? Obviously, Wicked Bad Movie is the bottom tier. That's what a lot of these are going to get. A Wicked Bad Movie. Then you get your middle rating, which is just kind of meh, and then the absolute rarest of occasions, you'll get a rating that's. Fuck me, it's actually good. And I don't want, I can tell you right now, it's not this. It's not good.
It's definitely not.
It's definitely not good.
It's a Wicked Bad movie.
I would say it's not even kind of meh. I would say this is a wicked bad movie.
Absolutely.
So, all right, good. We're in agreement there. People at home, if you're watching this now, if you're going to watch this on later views, please do me a big favor. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll come at you with more Wicked Bad movies as we watch them, which should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, John. We'll catch you the next time we do this.
Absolutely. See you later.